Hi everybody, my name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. So today I want to talk about the energies of the eclipse. Right now we're in the kind of window of the eclipses. We had an eclipse, lunar eclipse back on March 25th, and we have a solar eclipse coming up on the 8th of April. So the energies are very, very heavy and intense. And now I've been up and down the last couple of weeks, and I did read some information about this, say around the last eclipse, but I forgot. And yesterday I had one of the worst days I've had in a long time. I was really triggered. I was really, really emotional. Just all these anxieties and fears were coming back up. And it frightened me because it felt like the fears of my old self. And it really did frighten me. And because I was anxious about everything. I was emotional as well. I was emotional about the future, emotional about the projects I was doing at the minute. Fearful of them. And then I was anxious about my anxiety, because I was looking at this fear and it was like, this isn't me anymore. This isn't how I feel anymore. I've transformed out of that fear-based energy. This is the old version of me. And I felt like the old version of me was creeping back in. And that's why my new version, got anxious about the anxiety I was feeling, because I was like, what if I'm going backwards? What's happening? Like, what if I'm relapsing? And this really did, I was so triggered, I was angry, and I was so emotional. And I thought it was because I was hungry, because I decided to do a 48-hour fast. And yesterday was day one. But normally on day one of my fast, I'm energetic, I'm okay, I'm happy. But yesterday I was so triggered, I decided I'd only do 24 hours, because I was like, if this is why, if I'm just triggered because of food, I'm just going to do 24-hour and I'm just going to get my dinner this evening. And after eating, nothing changed. I was still upset, I was still emotional, and I was still angry, snapping, just really agitated. And, I didn't know what as I said, I was so fearful. I was like, what if I'm going backwards? What if I'm not, because I started a new project on Monday, and, I've delayed going back to it because I was busy. But I was kind of sitting there yesterday going, am I good enough? Can I do this? What if I'm not able? All these really anxious, fear-based energies came back up. And I was so fearful that I was reverting back to my old ways. And thankfully then I came across a couple of articles yesterday about the solar eclipse coming up. And I was reminded of what I read previously anyway, that at the moment with these eclipses, it's a time of transformation. But we're being faced with our shadow side. We're being faced, I suppose, with our stuff that we need to let go of. And there is a chance that we will revert back to old ways as a coping mechanism. And that's the thing, maybe sleeping a bit much, or, excessive food, or scrolling on the social media too much, stuff like that. And, I was kind of doing that again lately, was kind of scrolling on social media, feeling a little bit tired and lethargic, not wanting to get up in the mornings. And even this morning, I was just so so drained and kind of emotional again this morning. And I was like, I don't want to get up early. And I'm not really up before 8 o'clock, and I didn't get up till 9 o'clock this morning. And before I got up, I just changed my mindset. I said no. Because even last night, when I actually read those articles last night, I did transform. I kind of flipped a switch, and I was like, oh, thank God. It's not just me. It's the energies of the eclipse. This is part of the process. This is normal. So grateful to read those articles, because it did make me kind of take a weight off and relax into it. But it wasn't until last night that I decided to do this video that I actually felt better. And I was like, that's grand. And then this morning I woke up and I felt shitty again. And I was like, oh God, I don't really want to do anything today. And then I just had a bit of gratitude. I had a little moment of gratitude this morning, and said some what I was grateful for. And then I remembered I was doing this video, and I got excited. And I'm actually feeling really good now because of sharing this. Because what I've kind of realized this morning is, with these days that we get, that these anxious, these anxiety days, these depressing days, these fear-based days, we get so fearful that we're going to go backwards. We're after healing so much, we're after transforming so much, and we're just so scared we will revert back to our old ways. And I realized this morning, when you look back on your journey, there has been nothing but growth. You know, and even on those days that you have to, like when you have a bad day, it's not reversing. You're not going backwards. You're just pausing. Because everything is progression. Everything is a part of the ascension journey, and you can't go backwards. And then I looked back, I was thinking about it this morning, and I look back at the start of my healing journey, most of my days were dark. Most of them. For a long time while I was getting through that process. And as I got better, I could have maybe one bright, exciting day. And that's why I used to call it bipolar, because the dark days were very dark. But that one day in the middle was so high. It was like, wow, yay, this is amazing, this is amazing. And you'd feel so excited thinking that you're out of that darkness. And then the next day you're back down in that darkness again. And then you're going, oh shit, I forgot this was a roller coaster. Because you're so excited with that one day of happiness that you're like, yay, I'm out of the dark, I'm out of the dark. But then you go straight back into it. But as you progress and heal through that journey, you can get extra bright days. So you're on the high a bit more often. So you might get 2 or 3 good days and then the rest are dark. But it slowly starts to change. And what I've noticed over the last couple of years, and especially over the last year in particular, the good days are longer, are more frequent than the dark days. And I notice especially in say the last 6 months anyway, I don't really get that many dark days anymore, thankfully. I will have a lot more brightness than darkness. And that's why when I do have the anxiety-filled days and the fear-based days, I panic. I do. I panic because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going back. I'm going back. And it just freaks me out. And I'm like, what if I go back to my old ways? What if I stop moving forward? What if I'm stuck? What happens? And it freaks me out. And as I said, I get anxiety over my anxiety. So it's a double whammy of anxiety. And that's the way I was yesterday. I was so emotional and fearful. And it felt like it wasn't my energy. It felt like a lot of my old belief system was creeping back in. It felt like a lot of my anger was the inherited anger I used to have. So, you know, that anger that I learned before, because it wasn't my words coming out. And I was like, this isn't me. And that frightened me even more because I was like, am I going backwards? I've had such a good role. Like I've had such a good win at the moment. Every day is getting brighter and brighter than the other. And then I have this dark day and I'm like, oh my God, freak out mode, because I'm like, what if I don't go forward from it? What if I get stuck again? What if I go back? This is the way my mind was yesterday. And if I hadn't read those articles, I would still be like that. Like, you know, I'm just grateful with these moon energies anyway, with the full moon or the new moon. The moon energies are going to bring up emotions. So with these eclipse energies as well, it's going to be heightened and more intense. And then obviously we're in Mercury Retrograde as well. So there's more emotions, and there's kind of all of this kind of this old stuff comes back to be refaced or, you know, re-released in a sense. So it's like you're everything that's coming to the surface is what's left over, I suppose, from what you healed. Because as I've said before, we heal in layers. So we heal for the strength we have at that time. So, you know, and like at the start of your healing journey, you're still quite weak. So you heal a little section and that makes you stronger. And then you heal more and more and more and more and more. But there is still always going to be a little bit there for release. And this is what's happening. It's that stuff is resurfacing for re-release so that you can transform into something new. And that's what I've discovered as well, is that when we have these dark days where we feel like we're gone backwards and we feel like we're reverting back to our old ways, or we're getting all those emotions and fears and those anxieties again. It's like the catapult. It's like the universe is pulling you back to that mode to let go and release you and propel you forward with a quicker motion. So these days are actually quite transformative because they're a massive release to actually make it's to make room for what's coming to come in quicker. And I've noticed this over the last couple of weeks, especially. I did a video on the equinox and the spring and doing a cleanse and clearing out what no longer serves you and, you know, making room for some fresh starts and something new. And I've been decluttering flat out for the last, I don't know how long, you know, unconsciously. My house, you know, the garden, my mind, my computer, everything has been getting a declutter. Even my Facebook page had to get decluttered. Do you know what I mean? All of this is real symbolism of what's to come in. The universe only makes you let go of things to make room for something better. So even when it comes to, that's your physical world, but your mental, like when you clear up your physical world, this declutters the mind as well. It's a symbol of the mind. Like if you've got a decluttered space, your mind is less busy as well. And that's what this retrograde and eclipse energy is about, is decluttering all that emotion, decluttering that fear, because there's still obviously residues of that fear-based energy there, and so we just have to be mindful of that, and don't be afraid. We can't go backwards. There's no way we can go backwards. No way. There's just no hope of it. So we can't let this fear-based energy to make us believe or get stuck back in that motion. Be mindful of how you feel. Obviously, if your body needs more rest, take that rest. If you need a little bit of comfort, take that comfort. But know that you're not going to get stuck in that again. You've transformed so much over the last however long you've been doing your journey and doing your healing. You can't go backwards. And even if you have a day where you revert back to old ways and have a little bit of a lazy day on the couch, if you need to, that's okay. Once you know that it's temporary, once you know that this is just a declutter of what is left of that old energy, it's releasing all that old, stagnant, fear-based, anxious energy once and for all to propel you forward. And like that's the thing. As I said, I forget that we're always going up, and we can't go backwards. I forget that, as I said, because before, as I said, it was like the good days were shorter and the dark days were longer. So now that the good days are getting longer, it really frightens me if I have a bad day, because it's like, oh my God, I've come so far. I can't go backwards now. And it really got me yesterday. Really, really emotional, because there is days that I will get lethargic and I will get overwhelmed, or I'll need extra rest because my body's too tired from working too hard. And that's fair enough, like, and I will take that time to rest. And then I'll get anxiety about that as well sometimes, because I forget that, I'm like, I should be doing something. But being is doing as well. We need this rest, this pause in between to prepare us for the next steps. And I keep forgetting that. On the days that I have to just take a break, being is doing. And I get so much done by sitting with myself, speaking to myself, figuring out what my next steps are, than if I try to work through that. If I try to work through the frustration, the anxiety, the tiredness, it slows me down even further, that I might have to take 3 days rather than 1. But if I take that 1 day to pause, to, I suppose, integrate what I've done so far and prepare and plan my next steps, then I actually move forward quicker. So we have to stop punishing ourselves for taking that rest. And that's what it is. These couple of weeks, especially coming up to this eclipse again, and with this Mercury retrograde and all that, just understand what your body and your mind are telling you. And if you need to take that break and take that rest to release those emotions, to reboot your system is what it really is, to propel yourself forward to the next step, do that. And don't be hard on yourself. And that's the thing. Yesterday, I'm kicking myself, and I punished myself for feeling these anxieties or letting these anxieties come back in. But they come back in for a reason. They come back in for lessons. And that's the thing with retrograde as well. Certain things from your past will resurface as a test to see if you're prepared to move on to the new path or revert back to your old ways. It is a test in a sense. And you need to understand how strong you are now because of how far you've come so far. And know that you're not going to go backwards. And that you're strong enough now to say no to these past, I suppose, temptations. and understand that you're not for that anymore. And that's the thing. Sometimes we have to retaste the past, in a sense, or revisit the past to understand that it's not for us anymore. Because I learned that with a certain few things in my, that I had to walk away from or let go of, and, I might have tried it again just to see. And then I was like, no, 100%, it's not for me anymore. Do you know, that kind of way? And like, even when it comes to food, like when I started my new healthy eating and I cut out sweets, I felt I want sweets. I felt like a child, like pissed at the universe because I couldn't have treats. And I was just like, But for my birthday then, I had loads of treats and I felt horrible. My body physically it reacted. I felt sick. I had heartburn. It was nasty. And then I realised then that the treat of, like, my treat now is feeling healthy. I don't need to overindulge in chocolate or sweets or crisps or anything like that, because that's not a treat for me anymore. The treat is feeling healthy and feeling good in my body. And that's the thing. Like, so we need to maybe revisit things to understand that it's so not for me anymore. Because when stuff like that, even people say, the people that you walked away from, you might revisit them or something, or they might come back into to your environment, for you to see once and for all. Because you might feel like a little bit sad. Obviously, you're going to be sad because you have to walk away from friends or certain people, and then they come back in your life, and you're kind of like, oh, maybe we'd be okay. And then you kind of realize, oh, no, this is why we disconnected. This is not right. This is not what is in alignment with me anymore. And your soul will tell you, if something isn't for you anymore, your body will react. And like, that's the thing, even with sweets or unhealthy eating, my body reacted. So when I'm around the wrong environment or the wrong people, my body reacts. My soul reacts. My soul reacts through my body. So understand that if anything comes back during this retrograde or this eclipse season for you to revisit, understand how you feel. Because you're going to feel, if it's not for you, you're going to feel shitty. And it's not going to feel good. So be mindful of that. But understand that we're not going backwards. We're on pause. We're on pause to rest. We're on pause to release anything that needs to be let go and that's no longer serving us. We're on pause to, I suppose, see how far we've come and plan our next steps. Prepare for our next steps. And prepare for it because it's going to get quick. With this massive clear out, with this massive declutter, something big is happening. It really is. There is really something big is going to happen. If you've been doing your healing and if you've been doing the learning and you've been releasing as you go, things are going to speed up. They are. Things are going to get fast. If you've been living in hermit mode for a while, doing that healing, doing that integration, doing your spiritual work, releasing what no longer serves you, learning all those lessons, if things have seemed slow for a long time, but still productive, things are going to propel forward. I can feel it. We're being pulled back like this catapult and we're going to go forward really quickly. I think things are going to start speeding up for the next few months or for the rest of the year. So be mindful of that. Take this time to prepare. Take this time to rest. Take this time to reboot. For this upcoming, I suppose, excitement, because there is something big happening. I can just feel it. I know it's going to happen. I'm so excited. So yeah, just mind yourselves. Be mindful of your energy. Rest and release. Transform yourself. And don't worry. Don't let that anxiety or those old fear-based energies make you think that you're going backwards. Remember how far you've come and understand that this is just a re-release and a reset, a reboot, so that you can transform into the best version of yourself. You have come so far. So you know that you can do this and there is no going backwards. There is just a pause to prepare for the exciting times ahead. So thank you so much for listening today. If this resonates, please like and share and please subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path. Thanks. Bye-bye.